There comes a moment in every relationship, friendship, or even job when something changes. At first, you're the one giving. You text first. You show up first. You offer help, love, and care. And you believe this effort will build something strong. But slowly, you notice something inside. A small ache. A tiny burn in your chest. Your effort feels invisible. Your kindness becomes background noise. And you begin to wonder, do they even value me? Or do they just use me when they need me? If you've ever felt overlooked, ignored, or taken for granted, this message is for you. By the end, you'll understand the hidden power of silence, of pulling back, of protecting your peace. And once you learn this, you'll never see yourself the same way again. In the beginning, chasing feels right. You call first. You ask how they're doing. You remind them you care. And deep down, you believe this proves your value. But here's the trap. The more you give without balance, the less it is valued. Think about food. Imagine eating your favorite meal every single day. At first, it tastes amazing. But after a while, you stop noticing. It becomes ordinary. Not because it lost flavor, but because you lost appreciation. That's what happens with people. When you give endlessly, your kindness stops feeling rare. It becomes routine. And routine becomes invisible. This is not love. This is not connection. This is dependence disguised as devotion. And the more you chase, the more they step back. Here's the hardest truth. When you stop chasing, you'll feel uncomfortable. It feels wrong. It feels like you're giving up. But silence isn't weakness. Silence is healing. Think about when you stop eating too much sugar. At first, your body craves it. You feel restless, even sick. But after a while, your body grows stronger. Silence works the same way. The reason silence feels painful at first is because you're letting go of the old you, the version who thought love had to be earned, who thought attention had to be chased. That version is falling away. And in its place, a stronger, calmer, more peaceful you is being born. Think about friendships. You always text first. You invite them out. You check on them. But when you stop, they don't notice. That's not friendship. That's you carrying the whole relationship on your back. Think about relationships. You give your heart. You always explain, always forgive, always fix. But they give little in return. When you step back, they panic. Not because they miss you, but because they miss the comfort you provided. Think about work. You're the one who always stays late, who helps others, who goes beyond. At first, you're praised. Later, it's expected. And the moment you stop, people realize how much you were carrying. In all these situations, silence is a teacher. It reveals the truth, who values you, and who only values what you do for them. The Stoics knew this long before us. Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. It's not the other person's silence that hurts us. It's the story we tell ourselves about it. We think, they didn't reply, so maybe I'm not enough. We think, they pulled back, so maybe I'm not worthy. But the truth is, their actions don't define your value. Your value was always there. Silence teaches you this. When you stop explaining, stop chasing, you finally learn, I am enough, even when no one claps. I am worthy, even when no one texts back. That is real freedom. When you step back, when you go silent, something powerful happens. Your silence becomes a mirror. Suddenly, they are forced to face themselves. They see the ignored texts, the cold replies, the times they took you for granted. And that reflection is not comfortable. They may test you. They may send small messages like, "Hey, how are you?" Or, "Remember that time we..." But this isn't real effort. This is just checking to see if your silence is real. Don't be fooled. They don't always miss you. They miss the version of themselves they had when you were around. The version that felt important, cared for, central. But you're not here to be someone's mirror anymore. You're here to shine for yourself. Your attention is not free. It is like money. If you give it everywhere, it loses value. But if you protect it, if you give it only where it is respected, it becomes precious again. Think about your phone battery. If every app is open, your battery dies fast. But when you close what drains you, your phone lasts. Your peace lasts. This is why boundaries matter. Boundaries aren't anger. They aren't walls. They are doors. And doors open only for those who knock with respect. My friend, silence is not weakness. Silence is wisdom. The day you stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop explaining, you discover your real strength. Because you don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to fight to be chosen. You already are enough. When you step back, when you walk away with peace, you're not losing them. You're finding you. And that is the greatest power you can ever hold. So today, stop asking, do they see me? Instead ask, do I see myself? Because when you see yourself clearly, you'll never again beg someone else to do the same. You don't have to chase to be loved. You don't have to explain to be respected. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is be silent and let your growth do the talking. Welcome to your new life, where peace is a goal and silence is your power. And maybe right now you're sitting in silence. No calls, no messages, no one checking in, and it feels heavy. But understand this, emptiness is not always loss. Sometimes emptiness is space. Space for healing, space for growth, space for the right people to arrive. When you remove what drains you, you make room for what feeds you. You make room for peace. You make room for new energy. You make room for people who don't just notice your presence, but treasure it. Think about nature. The tree does not beg the sun to shine. It stands still, roots deep, branches wide, and the sun finds it. The river does not chase the ocean. It flows naturally, and the ocean waits with open arms. The flower does not scream to be admired. It blooms, and those who see its beauty are blessed. That's you. You don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to fight to be seen. You only need to grow, and the right people will recognize it. Silence teaches you patience. It teaches you self-respect. It teaches you to let go without bitterness, and to trust that whatever is meant for you will not need to be forced. And here's the beauty. The moment you choose silence, the moment you step back, people notice. Maybe not right away, but eventually, they notice the absence of your care. They notice the gap your kindness once filled. And some will return, but this time, you'll be different. You won't return as the same giver, the same chaser, the same one who over-explains. You'll return stronger, calmer, wiser. And even if they don't return, you'll realize something even greater. You don't need their applause to feel valuable. You don't need their validation to feel whole. Because the truth is, you were never lacking. You were only giving pieces of yourself to people who couldn't hold them. Now, you're learning to hold yourself, to protect yourself, to love yourself in silence. So when the urge comes to chase, pause. When the urge comes to explain, breathe. When the urge comes to beg for attention, remember this. Silence speaks louder. It says, I know my worth. I don't need to prove it. And when you live this way, something magical happens. You stop attracting people who take, and you start attracting people who give. You stop chasing love, and love begins to find you. You stop begging for respect, and respect starts to flow naturally. This is a quiet power. The power that doesn't shout, doesn't fight, doesn't argue. It simply stands tall like a mountain, unshaken by the wind. So today, choose silence. Not as a weapon, not as punishment, but as a shield. A shield to protect your heart, your peace, your soul. And let that silence carry you into a life where you are no longer chasing, but simply being whole, being strong, being enough, because you always were, you always are, and you always will be.